smiling, I keep doing my thing. Before my life is over and my moment fade away. I keep going, I keep smiling, I keep doing my things. Before my life is over and my chance just take her wings. Searching for a mission, life's no competition. It has no definition, no, no, no. The blind faces follow, my vibes just stay mellow. You can't take what I know, no, no, no. What I know, what I know.
You just have too many ways to kill that Yunara.
Or slam the Nautilus. Similar idea, right? You just have targeted CC.
Yeah, that's another one.
Something flexing the Camille somewhere else sounds like a decent idea, although I wouldn't want to be Camille in that top lane against an Olaf. Yeah, you're going to throw down the Hex Deck ultimatum. You can't go anywhere, Olaf, and then he murders you.
I like this.
Doesn't sound like a lot of fun.
You're going to be able to match the Rise insides.
I hear that Showmaker is pretty good at Twisted Fate.
He's also
as well.
very good at it. Sets up for Jarvan really well. So, eyes on Zeus here. Is he playing Camille? Or is he another counterpick? He's playing Kled. Is he playing the Jax? The Jax goes pretty hard here, to be honest. But looks like he wants to play Camille.
Or Shen. But no, the Alistar will be locked in.
This
That's
one
going to confirm the Camille to the top lane.
This one doesn't hit for me, you know, Atlas. I mean, I know you have a somewhat, if you're running the Camille top, you have somewhat of a front line and her engage, but she's pretty squishy otherwise. You know, she needs to be followed up on instantly, and they have the Ziggs ultimate for that. They have the Lee Sin who can follow up easily. The Rise gets in there. But the Alistar here, in what it sacrifices in lane,
Searching for a mission, life's no competition. It has no definition, no, no, no. No blind faces follow, my vibes just stay mellow. You can't take what I know. Searching for a mission, life's no competition. It has no definition, no, no, no.
Place just yet, but they will get it if D+ manage to win this game right now. HLE are the only other team that are actually capable of pushing them away from that.
this is a pretty tough level 1.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's really tough for Ziggs
Wow.
as well. We're going to see an early exhaust. Zeus went Ignite, so he just can't compete.
Yeah, he is going to light Shio on fire now, though. There's the flash, get out of the undertow. This could be first blood, but flash is still available for Shio. And Zeus, gets
Level
the
2?
thing, and there's the flash forward. Level 2 is picked up. And does he actually have it? Yes, he does. Shio locks down the solo bolo before 2 minutes.
Oh, he gets level 2, goes back to the wave.
Shio gets back to lane, but this is still pretty devastating. Let's have a look at it from Shio's perspective.
Yeah, Shio's perspective. Exhaust first. And those as his exhaust wears off, that's when Zeus decides to go back in. Gets the sweep actually in the sweet spot. Flashes the undertow here. And then, hey, gotta get that XP. Look at that one.
You got that 5 gold as well, baby. You love to see that.
No way out. Oh. You can see how close he was too. And he apologizes, but I mean.
And let's see whether Shio can actually survive here. I think he has a pretty good idea of what's coming. Minion Wave does turn up at exactly the right time, but I don't know whether he's surviving this one. Zeka tanking up the turret for a while, but that is going to be a confirmed return kill, and a whole bunch of these minions are now going to go missing.
Go missing here in the mid lane as well. Zeka doesn't have TP, but
that was a gorgeous pulverize. But Korea didn't pick up turret aggro. The minion just got in the way.
Horrible as we thought, but it's still not great.
Yep, Zeka is looking at some angles here. Wildcards is going to soften him up momentarily, and Delay just shows up. Kanavi here as well, and they are just a kill squad roaming around the map. Kanavi going to be able to grab another one here. 2-0 on the Lee Sin. It's a lot of sense.
Maybe going to ult it back to the wave. We'll still lose some of that farm, but not as much with career covering there, as this game is just constant aggression. As Guma is a Ziggs. He's not going to like this exchange.
Yeah, Smash is just going to run at him. Slurkle is going to miss, but he's still hitting these autos. The flash is available, and it's a solo from Smash. Man, that one felt a bit personal. And Xiu is now looking for a potential dive angle. There is the Twisted Fate making his way over. Showmaker gonna look for the gold card, doesn't quite get it. Hextech Ultimatum comes down. No one picked up the turret aggro though, and Goomer's dead again in the bottom lane. It's answered by Zeus though, and Zeka's going to show up. That's gonna be the kill from the Olaf. And now the Cow's going to come in and see whether he can make this one happen, and he is gonna be able to do so. With Xiu surviving for way too long. But there was nowhere for him to go, so he was going to be taken down. No flash actually employed.
Thing I'm most afraid of. So watch this, by the way. This is actually such a good read. They see Guma way too far up here, looks for the circle. Delight TPs to try solving the topside play.
Oh no.
But like Smash just instantly is like, something's up. They're like, you could tell by the way Guma's moving there, right? That they're communicating about something. I think Smash is just like, well, I'm gonna look for a good trade. But Guma and Delight are on completely different pages, right? Because Delight's trying to salvage the topside play. We do see Showmaker look for this here. Realm Warp comes up to save. They're a bit too deep here. Zeus is a nice ultimate, but Xiu is able to just run him down. And then what happens next is even crazier because Delight shows up in that loss on the bottom side, and then Xiu's just like, I'm just going to get as much farm as possible here. Dodges the second, and he gets so much money actually before he goes down. He's just a gold card at this point. Yep, and looking to start the Dragon first is Kanavi with the amount of control they have, but this is by no means secure, and Showmaker can kind of just leapfrog his way past the Rise here, so Zeka's Prio means very little. Delight's on a pretty nice angle here, decides to let it go.
Yeah, just going to group up with the rest of his teammates. Slurkle goes down. This is looking like it's going to be a 50-50 as the Hextech Dragon is going to turn it to face Lucid now. The Lightning looked pretty frustrating here for HLE as that was a weird trading places, and the Wild Growth is just gorgeous. Gumayushi going to get himself out of the way, though, and Smash is isolated. That's going to be Kanavi locking down the Drake as Lucid gets on top of Delight. He's level 6, but he's down so low, and Kanavi is the target here for D+. He goes back in, though, and that is Yunara picking up another one. Somehow, Smash gets that kill, and that's a bit scary for HLE. Them to make it happen.
It's not impossible. They've got a lot of good CC here as Zeus is going to like this trade initially.
Oh, that hook shot is just going to deny everything from
Schultz, despite what's otherwise been a pretty tough game for him.
Oh, the flash in here from Zeus as Xiu does get his shield back, and he's just dead. Zeus just too good on this Camille.
Situation. So you can watch it again here. This is post-exhaust, right? So Xiu doesn't have that anymore. So Zeus, who has Ignite and Flash, is like, all right, I've got this engage angle. Flashes for the hook shot, puts him in Hextech Ultimatum, and Xiu doesn't have a way to mitigate the damage without his exhaust. Delight isn't even necessary here. He was just there to make sure the Lulu and the Jarvan don't look for a dive. Meal or a fed Yunara and a weak Olaf, because Olaf's still going to press R and run at people. I'd rather be the Olaf side of this myself.
Well, Delight right now is going to be put into the paddock. There's a Wild Growth on Lucid to keep him alive. The Hextech Minefield goes down. Mega Inferno Bomb is kind of massive here, though, and there's the kickback onto Lucid. He flashes out of the way and will escape. And now Smash trying to kite this one out. Xiu, though, a great angle. A lot of these cooldowns now missing. Holding on to the Ragnarok, though, and the flash as Xiu is now looking to escape. The rest of HLE, though, are chasing after him. And this might be a difficult one. Looking to now turn it on to someone, but it's not going to work.
No idea what he thought was going to happen there. I guess he just thought he was dead. Maybe try for it for the all-in there, but flashes for it and just kind of gets embarrassed on the attempt. Knew that he wasn't going to be able to do so, but he saw the angle.
All right, teleport to bring Showmaker towards this fight. They do not want to give up this Drake as Lucid now in a little bit of trouble. Delight gets on top of him. Unbreakable Will back up and available once again, and Zeus gets in here. Very, very scary, but the Undertow is going to connect. There's a great knock-up from the Jarvan as he gets kicked away. Mega Inferno Bomb doesn't actually do the damage. Pulverize is gigantic, and into the backline goes Xiu, and he's finding so much damage with these axes. The Dragon is also going nuts, but it's Smash that's the biggest problem. The triple for the Yunara, and they'll grab themselves the Drake as well.
So much time to free farm. He's been, okay, Xiu.
Yeah, he is going to throw down the ulti. And with a minute left on the Dragon,
gotta wait that out before he blast
deal.
bones. Funny thing if you try to use that while you have Ragnarok.
And they're also running into the Dragon, so
There's
it looks like
that
they are
Camille.
looking for a fight. Yeah, that is a deep flank from Zeus. Smash now trying to move into position as Xiu does land the Undertow onto Kanavi. There is the Realm Warp. The Drake is going to be secured as Smash is taken down. And now it's Lucid trying to put them in the cage and then get himself out of there. Does get the Blast Cone to safety, and if they only lose Smash, this is kind of ridiculous from D+. Into the Rune Prison goes Showmaker. I don't think he's surviving this one as he doesn't have the Destiny Gate. but he's still just going to waste as much time as he possibly can.
So that's Baron, by the way.
Korea.
You know, they're doing Baron, and Showmaker is not going to be able to stop this well.
Yeah, Wild Growth doesn't quite work out there. Good sidesteps on the Qs as he does find the gold card. And Showmaker still dealing with the minions. There's the kill!
Crazy
That's
stuff. Now they're going to press Baron, actually.
All right, Shiu
Shiu's
moves over here.
And
Does have
Guma's
Ragnarok
cut off.
and Flash and the exhaust.
Guma, no ult. He's cut off from this fight. This is a really tense one here for HLE.
This feels like a 50-50 to me, Wolf. It's a scary moment. Oh, the interruption on the headbutt, the steal on the Baron, and down goes the cow. And now the Viking is just going ballistic. It's a double kill for Shiu and Zeka. Oh no, he is actual, but from the death chamber, unable to change the play. He actually just committed him to death as well.
But it's a 4v3, but not really, because Guma's not here. And they've been taking damage from this Baron. And Kanavi does not get the secure, tries to go for the all on Delusive, but they're just cut off, and it's Zeus who just runs away. Knowing he can't back. Cheerleader Showmaker after he makes the sick play bottom lane. They might have just won the game.
Oh god, yeah, Kanavi is just dead. Smash just runs at him, presses his R button, and down goes the Lee Sin, and now use
rapid fire
all
cannon.
the extra the map pressure. As there's a Cataclysm on top of Zeka. I don't think he's actual. Never mind, he actually is. And gets out with a Realm Warp. That was sick. Mega Inferno Bomb as well, getting a bunch of work done for Gumayushi, who'll pick up his first kill of the game.
The Giga angle, right, that I was describing. Like, maybe there's one way you avoid the Olaf, but will they get that again? Not with no flank wards, not with no way for him to get that access this time around. Instead, maybe sandwiching Showmaker could be a play here.
We'll see whether that is what they're going to be able to look for.
He has no TP.
Yep, Zeka is just going to move out of the brush. Showmaker gets the bad news. And the Destiny is going to give him vision of where Zeus is. I don't know whether he's outplaying this one as even the wildcards go wide, and he is going to get taken out. So Zeus grabs that kill. 20 seconds on this Dragon. That's 30 seconds without Showmaker. But Gumayushi's starting to do damage as well. Those two rods that he's picked up. Does want to turn them into a hat.
On the flank.
Rotating around, gets on top of Zeus here. The exhaust goes down onto the Camille. Delight trying to feel as best he can as Guma gets engaged on the Wild Growth. Is fantastic from Smash, but he goes down! And Guma is going to be traded, but I think HLE are well and truly okay with that. They'll deny the Dragon as well, and D+ just trying to get what they can off the back end.
Shiu does have this Blast Cone to play through.
Yeah, he is going to join Kanavi as he looks to try and escape, but Kanavi has a bit of extra mobility than that of the Olaf, and so Shiu going to get shut down as well.
See if he's brave enough to do it. They don't have really a whole lot of missing vision anywhere. I think he could have been happy to hit that, but he wants to look for a fight instead. Zeus.
Yeah, Zeus does have his GA up and available. Shiu is in a little bit of trouble here. Strybreaker comes down, and there is the turn. Can they actually make this one happen? Mega Inferno Bomb does come down. The undertow is not going to quite work out here as Shiu picking up cinders all over the place, and the stun, it comes down. And Zeus just uses that Guardian Angel to make sure he grabs the kill.
The timing of this is very critical. They have a lot of damage with this Rise, but they're on a 30-second timer here, and already Lucid and crew are here. Smash with Flash and ult available.
Yep, all of the buttons up, though, to isolate Smash and take him down, so it looks like D+ not going to try and contest this. Realm Warp to come in, though, and now Smash possibly going to get turned on. No.
I mean, for real, for D+ is so far away now because they're going to be fighting into this Baron Prio as a bit of a flank here from the Olaf.
All right, let's see whether this is going to work out as the minefield comes in. Kanavi has a bit of a flank idea as well as Smash gets headbutted back. He flashes out of the way, but he's still dead. Cataclysm comes through. Gumayushi is the one to pick up a double. At least Shiu is in here, and Guma goes down. It's a double for the Viking as well. But HLE have still got damage left. Zeka and Kanavi are still massive, and they'll be able to push through and take down some structures.
Late, he keeps finding the angles, and that's where comfort comes into play, man. Look at this. Gets onto Smash again, pops him back, and just again saves the game. He's done it so many times. He just eats the laning phase for breakfast and says, it's okay, I don't have indigestion.
Yeah, no, he's absolutely fine. He can go swimming
fine.
right after having a big meal, and he'll be absolutely okay. Yeah, Destiny does come on through. It looks like D+ are playing for the fight rather than anything else. Zeus looks to go in on top of Shiu. Holds on to the Ragnarok, at least for the moment, as now Kanavi looking for an angle, gets into the backline, manages to find Smash, who immediately goes down to that GA, and HLE, I think they've just done it, finding game number 1 after a huge deficit, and they'll be able to walk up the mid lane and take down the Nexus.
Showmaker looking to try to kite his way back here, but I don't think he'll ever be able to stop the onslaught of HLE. 5,000 gold up on the Yunara, 7-0, but they get him 4 times in the late game, and he ends the game with a loss at 7-4. HLE find and kill the Yunara. They dissect D+.